Hi everyone! We've watched Ash Ketchum travel through multiple different regions and have many different journeys across these past 25 years. And at this point in time, Ash is about to be wrapping up his journey in the series Pokemon Journeys, no pun intended. And I thought to myself that Ash has had so many different adventures up until now, but what if I could change some of those? What if I was in control of each and every single story that Ash has had across all the different series that we've had in the anime? So I thought I'd start a brand new series on this channel where I discuss how I would rewrite some of Ash's stories. How would I change his teams? What would happen with his travel companions? What would happen in the overall arcing story? Some of these regions will have more discussion than others, and some of them will actually be full series that I end up doing later on in this channel. But before I get to any of that, because that will take a very long time, I wanted to give some brief summaries of the changes I'd make across each and every series in a few smaller videos. And I thought I would start out with Unova. So today, I'm going to be starting out this series discussing how I would change Ash's adventure in Unova. To start things off, Ash's team and adventure will be drastically different. Instead of traveling with Iris and Silent, Ash is going to be traveling with Hilbert and Hilda, who I'm saying are going to be twins. And their story in this show is that they're going to be interested in the legends of the Hero of Truth and the Hero of Ideals. And they wish to learn more about these heroes by traveling the region, going to new places, and talking to new people. And so they're going to be going through all of this by traveling with Ash across the region. I think this makes much more sense than having him travel with Iris and Silent. Honestly, with that, it felt like they were just trying to emulate the original series of Ash traveling with two gym leaders, which were Brock and Misty, of course. And I don't know, it just felt kind of forced to me, especially Silent following along Ash. It just really didn't make much sense to me. So I'm just going to say that it's better that Ash travels with Hilbert and Hilda, since they are just blank slates and they can do whatever they want. They don't need to follow any sort of role. It's not going to be weird if they're like Silent, they're supposed to be a grass-type gym leader, but they catch no grass types once they're traveling with Ash. So we're going to be doing that in this series. Ash's team here will be very different. So a lot of fans aren't really too fond of Ash's Unova team, and I personally am not myself. And the reason for that is because Ash just made so many captures, and many of those Pokemon just didn't end up getting that much attention. It's actually crazy how Ash caught Palpitoad, and it appeared maybe like 4 times in the entire series. That to me is just crazy. Why even have him capture Palpitoad in the first place? So I'm going to be very much limiting Ash's team here to a traditional 6 Pokemon roster. His Unovan team will be, of course, Pikachu, and also Unpheasant, Pignite, Leavanny, Palpitoad, and Crocodile. Oshawott, Snivy, Scraggy, and Bowler will still be part of the main cast, but they will be spread across Hilbert and Hilda's teams instead of going to Ash. The same will be the case with some of Iris and Silent's captures. I'm doing this because I don't believe Ash needed to have as many captures as he did, considering that many of them did not even amount to much. By limiting his team, this also allows them to be able to get more screen time and development, being spread across a smaller group as opposed to having to do the vast amount of captures that he actually had. I'm going to say that Ash will encounter and catch most of his team members in nearly the same way, with only a few changes. But since I'm changing up Ash's team so much, obviously this means that Ash's gym battles will be very different, so I'm going to be going over them right now. Ash will still battle all 3 Striaton gym leaders, but since he doesn't have Oshawott, he will be using Tepig, Pikachu, and Pidove, the roster I believe he should have used. Now, I'm going to have Tepig actually lose to Chili, and I'm going to say that that's just because he's such a new capture and really hasn't been trained all too much. Pikachu, on the other hand, considering he has vast experience and a type advantage, will be defeating Panpour, as I definitely believe he should have in the series. And Pidove, despite also not having that much training, will be defeating Pansage here, simply because she just has the type advantage for it. And again, Silent will not be traveling with Ash, and this will be the only time he encounters him in the series. Ash will be catching the Sandile as soon as he encounters him early on, meaning that he will have him for his gym battle against Lenora, where here he will be using Tepig and Sandile. I'm going to say here that Ash will actually defeat Lenora, and that he won't actually lose to her and have to have a rematch. And I'm going to say that his Pokemon will learn new moves here in this battle, as opposed to having to go to training after their loss. Ash will be battling Berg with his newly caught Sewaddle, his Tepig, and his Tranquil. Sewaddle I'm going to say won't be faring too well since he's a brand new capture here, but I'm gonna say that Tepig and Tranquil will be handling the most of Berg's team, and Tranquil will probably be the one to defeat Berg's Leavanny. Again, what I thought should have happened in the actual show. Ash's battle against Elisa, which, by the way, I'm going to have to make an entire rant video on that because that is actually my least favorite battle in this entire series. It was so messy, so ridiculous, and just so much I need to talk about that would take too long if I talked about it here, so we'll save that for another video. But in this battle, I'm going to be having Ash use Sewaddle, Sandile, and his newly caught Palpitoad, and I'm going to say that Sandile evolves into Krokorok after this battle. Something else I wasn't a fan of in Black and White was how Ash had so many Pokemon just evolve randomly in the middle of gym battles, and that after evolution he just got the victory right then and there, thanks to the evolution, and usually also thanks to a brand new move. To me, it just felt so Deus Ex Machina. It felt just very forced, like Ash was on the verge of losing, he just had no other way to win, so bam, evolve the Pokemon right there. Instead of giving them actual time and development, just give them an evolution. I wasn't really a fan of that, so I'm going to say that Sandile will evolve into Krokorok after this battle ends. Against Clay, Ash will be using his Tranquil, his Swadloon, and his Palpitoad. And by now, I'm sure you can see that I'm really trying to give Tranquil the honor I think she deserved by having her actually be used in multiple gym battles, as opposed to having her on his team for so long and her not getting a gym battle until the 6th gym. Pito was his first Unova capture, and in the show, she did not get a battle until the battle against Skyla. Which, by the way, I'm going to say that Tranquil evolves into an Unpheasant before that battle happens. So, against Skyla, Ash will be using his already evolved Unpheasant, his Krokorok, and Pikachu. Against Bryson, I'm going to have Ash use Pignite, Pikachu, and Krokorok, since of course he doesn't have Scraggy here. Unlike the show, where Krokorok actually ended up winning Ash the gym battle, I'm going to say that his type disadvantage here actually results in his loss, though we'll say that he does fight really well. But Pikachu and Pignite will have to be the ones that handle the rest of Bryson's team. And against Drayden, yes, I'll be having Ash battle Drayden, not Roxy here. He will be using Pignite, his newly evolved Crocodile, and Leavanny. And I'm actually going to say that this battle will end in a draw for Ash, but Drayden will award Ash with a badge anyway, because he believes that his Pokemon fought hard and well enough that he deserves it. So that's just a brief summary of these gym battles. Again, I didn't go too much into detail with them because this video is just supposed to be a basic summary of a larger video series that I will do into the future. So, since we've gotten the gym battles out the way, let's move on to the rest of Ash's journey. So, let's talk about rivals. Ash's rival in Unova was Trip, and I really was not a fan of Trip. Not only because I just found him to be pretty bland as a character, but also because I don't like how they tried to make him kind of like this wannabe Paul, this trainer who just looks down upon Ash, but for absolutely no reason. Paul at least had valid reason to look down upon Ash. Paul had the skills to look down upon Ash. Paul and Ash were essentially on the exact same level. They had both competed in the same amount of leagues. They both made multiple different captures across multiple different journeys, across many different battles and teams, and Paul just really had reason to look down upon Ash, or at the very least, it was understandable why he would. Chip was a brand new trainer, had just got his first Pokemon right in front of Ash, and he is so cocky and thinks he has the right to look down upon him. Why? He just disrespects Kanto as a region. Trip was just handled so oddly, and I don't understand it for the life of me. In general, I really don't understand why Chip needed to exist, and this is another rant on its own. I've never been a big fan of how the anime just neglects the in-game rivals. The games give them rivals right there that they can give to Ash, but they really like to use their own anime-exclusive original characters for rivals, which I just really don't understand. I mean, they gave us Gary, who's based off of Blue. They do incorporate some of the rivals, but in many instances, like in the case of Barry and Sinnoh, he was introduced in halfway through the series. He was introduced, I think, right around the time Ash was about to battle Fantina. He is someone who could have easily been introduced in the very beginning of the series, but for some reason they just didn't, and it's something I don't understand. Again, that would be a whole rant on its own, and I'm not going to take too much time in this video to talk about that, but long story short, Ash will not be having Chip as his rival here. Instead, he will have the black and white rivals of Sharon and Bianca. Honestly, I feel like Sharon could have had the role of Trip anyway, considering Trip was a character who was kind of full of himself, which Sharon really isn't too full of himself, but he does think he's really competent as a battler, even though he doesn't necessarily know exactly what he wants to do with his life, which is similar for Bianca as well. Both of them kind of have this theme that they don't really know what they want to do with their journey, and I actually really like that. I think that could have been incorporated well into the show. Instead, Bianca, who actually did appear, and appeared early on for that matter, didn't really amount to much at all. She was really kind of just this joke character who was easily excited, really liked cute Pokemon. She threw temper tantrums. She was just very weird. She couldn't get things out of her bag. She really was just treated as a joke, and I just wasn't a fan of that. They didn't treat her as a serious rival at all. So I'm going to say here that Sharon and Bianca are Ash's main rivals, who basically, like in the games, Ash will just battle them throughout the entire journey. You know, in Black and White, you battled Sharon and Bianca so frequently. It's like every time you get to a new route, a new city, a new town, there's one of them ready to battle you. So we're going to say that Ash battles them pretty frequently throughout this series, and they're his regular rivals. Trip is not going to be here, Stefan won't be here. All these rivals they put into the show, they're not here at all. Just none of them, especially not any of the rivals for Silent and Iris, because again, they're not even traveling with Ash. And I'm not going to be saying that Hilbert and Hilda really need rivals. They're having their own thing going on with Team Plasma, so, and you know, the Reshiram and Zekrom stuff, the truth and ideals, heroes, so they don't really need any rivals. So we're going to say that after Ash gets through his gym battles, he of course heads to the League. Again, there's not going to be any Cameron, no Virgil, none of those characters are there. Ash will just be battling his rivals, Sharon and Bianca, and I'm going to say that his final match will be up against Hugh, the rival from Black and White 2, because I do want to incorporate some elements from Black and White 2 as well. So, like I said, Ash will be having his final League match against Hugh, and that match will actually end up in a tie. And the reason I'm ending that in a tie is because, honestly, the ending doesn't really matter, because what's going to happen here is what happens in the course of the Black and White games. Team Plasma is going to unleash their plan, and N's castle is going to rise out of the ground. Team Plasma is going to be having their traditional role in this series, as opposed to the anime, how because of a natural disaster, they ended up pushing Team Plasma's entire story way off into the second half of the series and just giving them their own little episode end arc. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to say that in an ideal world, we would have had Team Plasma acting out their shenanigans as they normally would have in the show, so we're going to say that all that happens. So yes, we will be having the climactic moment of N's castle rising out of the ground after the League. Ash, Hilbert, and Hilda will of course go up to battle Getsus and the Legendaries in the end, and of course they will save the day. I'm sorry I didn't mention it too much, because again, I was trying to focus on Ash's gym battles at first, but like I said, most of the Team Plasma stuff will be following the game's plot as it should, so there will be no need for an episode end here. After defeating the villains, Ash and Hilbert and Hilda, of course, will be deemed heroes of the region, so Ash really isn't too concerned about the League, considering he was able to get to the finals, and he still didn't technically, officially lose. But he feels he wants to do something more with his team, since they really didn't get their proper League finale. So, instead of the Decalore Islands arc that they had in the show, I'm going to be doing a Pokemon World Tournament arc, where Ash and the twins will head to Driftvale City, where Ash will compete in the tournament, battling old gym leaders and other major characters. This will be the nostalgia portion of the show, and with that, I'm making the choice that Ash will not be bringing Charizard back to his team to travel with him, because honestly, I never really saw the point in that. It really just felt like just desperation for some nostalgia, desperation for people to watch the show, old fans to watch the show, and honestly, to me, it was also just another way to push Unpheasant off of Ash's team and bring back Charizard because he really needed more screen time. But fret not, calm down, everyone. I'm going to be doing something even better. I'm going to be having Ash bring back lots of his old Pokemon, and they will be battling in the Pokemon World Tournament. Yes, including Charizard, he will be able to battle. All of these Pokemon will be battling, but they won't be added to his team in the long run. Essentially, it's going to be similar to Ash's original Sinnoh League, or Ash battling in the Battle Frontier, where he uses mixed teams of his current old and new Pokemon to battle in the tournament. I think this will work much better as an idea, as it allows us to see Ash's old Pokemon, but not just Charizard. We get to see Squirtle, we get to see Sceptile, we get to see Swellow, we get to see Glalie, we get to see all of these old Pokemon, and they aren't just being pushed aside for only one Pokemon, just Charizard, that really already had a lot of spotlight. So this allows lots of his old teammates to be able to get some time to shine and to be able to see different old gym leaders and to give focus and attention to the Pokemon World Tournament, which was really kind of just ignored in the actual series. Ash will be battling against numerous gym leaders, but his final opponent will be Iris, and she will be entering as the brand new gym leader of Oxlucid City, taking over from Drayden. The battle will be long and challenging, but the result will be, well, I'll save that for when I do that actual series. Unfortunately, it might take me a bit of time to get through that because I am focusing on another series first, but fear not, I will get that series out at some point, and if you guys are really interested in that, I recommend that you guys would subscribe to the channel if you're interested. But either way, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoyed my different take on Ash's Unova journey. Like I said, Black and White is a series that has a lot of issues among many fans, but it is also beloved by many fans. I don't want you guys to think that everyone hates Black and White. There are many people who like it, there are many people who dislike it. I think that it could have definitely been better, but that's why it's great that we have YouTube now, where we can make our own retellings of Ash's stories. I hope you really liked this retelling of Ash's Unova journey, and I will be back soon with another video where I discuss another one of Ash's journeys that I will be retelling. So I will see you guys then. Thank you.